Guess we just gonna have to wait till September 2nd.
That's what Tyler Robinson told us too. Is that we're gonna have to wait and
It's just gonna have to wait. September 2nd will be the date that we will showcase what we're doing, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Kentucky running back Raymond Sanders, does it sound like they've got a sneak attack plan for September 2nd? What do you think?
No, they must have imported a lot of players.
Steady. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. Today we're going to be moving ever closer to the Governor's Cup game between Kentucky and Louisville, but there's a whole lot of items on the table on both sides of Red and Blue that we're going to discuss. Please say hello to Darrell Bird of the Cat's Paws.
With my take on Louisville, hey, the Big East has a new commissioner. Yippee. It's still a terrible conference. I don't care how they try to dress it up. It's a conference that needs to go away, and Louisville needs to get out of town fast.
And hanging into the Big East to the bitter end is Howie Lindsay with CardinalSports.com.
Darrell has joined in the ESPN conspiracy to knock down the Big East. That's what it is. That's absolutely
they
what it is.
They don't need much help.
No. No, for Kentucky, I mean, what do you say? They've got, what are we going to talk about? Their great punter on campus. I favorited that tweet the other day. I like that.
Well, today we're going to be talking about the items to buy or sell in this special episode of the Red and Blue Review. It's brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, who reminds you better click it or ticket. Well, up top, the idea of recruiting Penn State football players. Now, Penn State's lost about a dozen players now that the NCAA has come in and smacked them around pretty good and told programs around the country, you can go to Penn State, recruit players, and put them right on your campus and start to play. Defensive coordinator Rick Minter told me that they did make a couple of phone calls up there, but that's as far as it went with UK and Penn State.
You know, there was a big unfortunate set of victims over there in Happy Valley, and it was children. I mean, children, and that's just so disgusting and so sad that occurred. My feeling is justice has been beginning to be served for those people, be it Sandusky, Paterno, and all the people who really were the grown-ups in the situation who made their decisions, particularly wrong decisions, are gone. And now the second set of innocent victims, unfortunately, are the players. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, those kids on that team didn't have anything to do with what went on in the locker room and off the field and the premises, but that's life in the NCAA, that if your institution fails to hold control, everybody pays. And that's a sad part of the rules, where the second set of victims now are the players and coaches who are there freshly starting, trying to renew spirits and keep going, you know, try to put it behind them as fast as they can and go forward. Well, now the NCAA's retarded that process by a few years. It's really costly. I'm glad there's monetary value involved, simply because that allows something good to come to those who need some form of healing, help, and assistance, restitution, all that sort of thing. But I really feel bad for the kids. So I really would have felt bad trying to go get players and pillage off that team.
All right, Darrell, buy or sell. UK did the right thing by not pursuing Penn State players.
Absolutely the right thing. Excuse me, there's no doubt about it. The only way I can even come close to justifying would be, had there been a kid that was down to Penn State and UK, or Penn State and U of L, and chose Penn State, and the kid had come to you and said, you were my second choice, I really wanted to come, would you consider? At that point, you entertain it, but to go pillage, no, absolutely not.
All right, Howie, buy or sell, UK did the right thing, and for that matter, U of L did the right thing by not going after Penn State players.
I'm going to buy it, but I'm conflicted about this because part of me wants Penn State to be punished as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And if half of their team left, that would be more punishment, and that would be good, in my opinion, because they should be to the point where they should never, ever, ever, ever have this stuff happen again. So part of me wanted half their team to leave. So from that standpoint, I would have loved it if all those kids said, listen, we're not going to be a part of this. But I am glad that both UK and U of L said, you know, we're not going to pursue these kids. If they come to us, maybe, but we're not going to pursue them.
Howie, our take on this agrees very well. I agree. I do buy this. I'm glad that the programs did not go after them. But I also think it's great that the NCAA gave these athletes an opportunity not to be stuck in a program that's going to be mired in mediocrity for 4 years. If they don't really want to wade through and be part of the team that goes through these punishments and then tries to turn things around, they have the chance to get out and not lose any of their eligibility. Well, what about being perfect at Papa John's this year? As you know, Louisville was not successful defending the home turf last year. Coach Strong was preaching, but the pulpit people weren't listening.
It's critical, and the home field is. I just think about the games that we have lost here and the ones that we lost at home. It's just, I mean, you look at that first year, we go, it's 4th and a foot, and I go for it, and we don't get it against South Florida, and we lose that one. And then the next week we go lose to West Virginia. If we get that 4th and 1, who knows what's going to happen the next week? Then you bounce out here last year, you lose to FIU, then we lose to Marshall, then we get beat by Pitt. But the games at home, you have to win because it's so tough to win on the road. And the home field advantage with the fans as a support. I mean, we pack it in here, and our fans come to watch us play. And you say, and I said, guys, they're out there, they're here for a reason. So let's go give them a show. Let's not go out there and mess around and kind of flutter around, and all of a sudden we look up and we're down and we go lose the football game. But we have to do a better job of defending our home stadium.
Dare you buying or selling? The Cards go undefeated at the Pizza Oven this year.
Oh, I am so torn on this. I have to sell it because to buy it means you are conceding that Louisville is going to beat the daylights out of Kentucky.
and why would you not do that?
Because this game goes weird every single year. I mean, Louisville had no business winning at Commonwealth Stadium last year, but they did anyway. Strange things happen in this series, so I can't concede it that way. Now, granted, which team is going to make the mistake that's going to cost you the game, the really bonehead mistake? It's going to be the really young team, which is what Kentucky is in a hostile environment, but still can't quite concede that yet, so I have to sell it.
Howie going undefeated in Papa John's this year, buying or selling?
I'm buying it, but not a lot of it. I'm not buying in bulk or anything like that. Here's the deal. They're going to beat Kentucky. Can they beat North Carolina? North Carolina's always got talent. You know that they've recruited extremely well. And the other one is, South Florida on that schedule. So they've got the opportunities there to go undefeated at this schedule. They haven't proven it yet, though. I mean, that's the big problem.
I see your North Carolina and South Florida. I raise your Florida International in Marshall. I think every time that team takes the field, they're going to look back to losing those 2 games at home. Charlie is not going to allow that to happen this year. Cards, they go undefeated at home this year. The SEC, the new and improved SEC, as you know, now that the SEC is 14 teams deep with Missouri and Texas A&M coming into the league, Joker says the best football league just got a little bit better.
The best league just got better by adding 2 quality institutions, 2 quality football programs, 2 great coaches, and that's what's lost in this league. Everybody talks about the talent level, and we have all these #1 draft picks coming out of this level, won 5 national championships. We got great coaches in this league too. We just added two more great coaches in this league, and everybody talks about the adjustment for those 2 programs, those 2 coaches. Those 2 coaches have had success everywhere they've been because they understand how to adjust, and they don't understand how to coach football. And that's what it is. It's still football.
All right, Darryl, you're buying or selling? The expanded SEC is GOOD for Kentucky.
Good for Kentucky? Yes, I'm buying it. Good for Kentucky football? You left off one word. I don't know, because you went from having the number 12 rated recruiting class to the number 14 related just because 2 other teams came in.
Yeah.
So that mountain just got a little higher and a little more treacherous, and just what a tough climb. You got Missouri in the East, you got Missouri and Texas A&M in the league. I mean, come on, it's getting ridiculous from the football side.
Howie, good thing for the Cats that they've expanded the SEC to 14.
Absolutely not. I mean, what are they thinking? I mean, it's one more tough game. It's another team that's going to take one of those bowl slots. Pretty soon, the SEC is going to go to the 9-game schedule because they're just going to make a lot more money at that. And at that point, they're going to drop the UK U of L series, which is bad for the whole state. It's just bad all the way around.
Let's not concede the end of the Kentucky-Louisville series just yet. There will be some political dynamite that will be set off if that happen. But I am buying it with this regard. It does help the SEC financially if they go to develop the SEC television network, because then you're into the Texas market, you're in the Missouri, the Kansas market. I think it helps them from that standpoint. From the competitive standpoint, I don't think it does anything. Kentucky basketball is still great, and Darryl just said it just pushed Kentucky a couple of spots down the rung on the ladder. Focus will be one of the foes on the Louisville football schedule this year. Charlie Strong knows his team did not handle success very well last year.
And, I hate to look back and think back about what has happened in the past, but, you go beat a good West Virginia team, then you come home and you lose to Pittsburgh. You go beat Kentucky and you come home and you lose to Marshall. So it's all about can we continuously just be a consistent winner? And that's what we haven't built in the program, where we've been consistent week in and week out, where we wouldn't want. Now, we wouldn't want to last 5 out of 6 games, but still, though, we have to be consistent where each week, and and you have to understand, guys, nothing is ever don't take anything for granted. Just make sure you work, and then your work will pay off. It's all about us going to work each and every day.
Focus is the biggest foe for the Cards this year, Daryl. Buying or selling?
I'm buying in massive bulk because the Big East is terrible and Kentucky is young. So it's got to be focused. And it's going to come down, I think, to Teddy Bridgewater, sophomore quarterback. He's matured a lot. He's bigger. Someone in the locker room has got to take control of those mental lapses before the game and just not showing up. Coaches can't do that for you.
Howie, buying or selling?
Well, let me start here for just a second.
You have a rebuttal first.
I do have a rebuttal first.
This should be good.
The Big East is not the SEC. Nobody's the SEC, but the Big East is better than the ACC the last 5 years. So it's not terrible.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
ACC's terrible.
And the best team in the ACC is North Carolina.
And we're one step above that. Yeah. So
you were pushing.
we've got you got North Carolina on there. You got Southern Miss on there. You got teams that can beat you. But I am absolutely buying. I mean, I'm agreeing that focus is the biggest opponent.
Yeah.
Because if they stay focused, Louisville has the talent to beat everybody on the schedule.
I think we all agree that focus, if Louisville can master that, they're going to go 12-0 this year. We come back. My cousin will be playing for the University of Louisville football team next season.
What?
We'll tell you. Yeah, it's true. We'll tell you about that after Daryl tells us about the football yearbook for the Cats.
Do appreciate it. In the spirit of this show, we're selling, and hopefully you're buying. 136-page football yearbook previewing the season. Extensive Q&A with Joker Phillips. Tons of player profiles and a really nice, strong look at every district in high school football throughout the state of Kentucky. Shop catspaws.com.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Explorer or F-150. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford, on the Waterson at Poplar Level Road.
Did you see Allison at lunch today? No, I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Allison.
Hey, hold up, Matt's calling me. Matt's calling me. Hey, we got the food and we're on our way right now. Hey, who's coming, bro?
What did he say?
Buying your next VW from Bachman Volkswagen will be a great experience. No games or gimmicks, competitive prices, and a huge inventory make #1 Bachman the place to get your Volkswagen. The all-new 2012 Jetta, an IHS top safety pick, is a great vehicle and fun to drive. Or get the sporty all-new 2012 Volkswagen Beetle. It's back and better than ever. Come to #1 Bachman Volkswagen today to get your new Volkswagen before someone else does.
Bachman makes a difference.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford, on the Waterson at Poplar Level Road.
Patrick, what do you feel like you're very confident at doing that you can bring to this team?
I don't know. My high school game, I just trying to get everybody to play as best as they can. I was good at that. So hopefully I can translate that to the college game.
What about your physical skills?
I don't know. I'm just going to do, whatever the play tells me, and hopefully I can execute that to the best of my ability.
The question is, when will we see him on the football field? Welcome back to the Red and Blue Review. We are talking about items to buy or sell, and Kentucky fans will have a decision to make sometime during this season. Are they going to pull for the team to win or pull for them to play badly enough that they get to see Patrick Towles?
Well, I want to make a decision at the quarterback position as fast as we possibly can. I wish we didn't have. I wish the decision was already made. It's not. The reason why it's not because of the competition that we have there. And Patrick Toles figures in this. He figures in it a lot. He's a guy that we got to find out how much he can do. He's a guy that can make plays with his legs, with his arm. He's a smart guy. He threw 46 touchdowns last year and 1 interception. It's unbelievable. So we've got to find out how much he can do for us.
All right, Daryl, let's see. Buy or sell. Patrick Toles will be the starting quarterback for the Cats by the time league play starts.
I'm not going in bulk, but I'm buying it because I thought he might I thought he might be the starting quarterback by the time the season started. I'm not convinced. I think Maxwell Smith is going to win at this taping. We're midway through the camp, and Joker still doesn't have that settled. So that tells you either the returning guys aren't doing as well, or Patrick and Jalen Whitlow are really pushing the other guys for playing time. But so much depends on the Louisville game. If it is Maxwell Smith and they were to upset Louisville, then Patrick may not see the field. If they get blown out and things are going poorly, you better get that freshman. If you want to try him, you better stick him in those non-conference games and get him some confidence before you go out into the SEC.
Howie, what's your assessment? Will the freshman make his debut against Florida?
I would buy that.
Okay.
I'm buying it, but not necessarily for the reason that he's the best quarterback. It's a built-in excuse.
Sure
I'm starting a freshman. What do you expect here? Yeah. That kind of thing. Although, in a shade of Bill Curry, I expect him to be running the option so that Hal Mummy comes back and installs the pass-around offense and everything's good again.
Well, I am also going to sell this. I don't think you're going to put a freshman in the SEC. That is too big of a ladder to climb. I think we will see Patrick Toles, but I don't think we'll see him this year. All right, has Pike peaked? Former Dixie Heights star Zeke Pike was originally an Auburn Tiger. He got in some off-the-field trouble. He got kicked out of Alabama, and now he's landed in Louisville.
Well, I don't know so much of what happened at Auburn, but I believe in this. If young men want to be a part of our program, and let me say this, when you come into this program, when I sit down with you, I'm going to tell you the way this program's ran. So he's accepting, he's willing, and his parents to sit down with his parents, and we talked about just how this program, what our focus is and what we're trying to accomplish, and just it's all about changing lives. You win on the football field, you win your games, but you win by changing lives, and Zeke Pike's he will be a part of this program. Now, as far as putting him at a position yet, we have not said exactly what position he's going to play, but he will be a part of this program.
Daryl, is he too much of a risk for Louisville to take, the Zeke Pike experiment?
I am buying that, not wholeheartedly. There's a really tricky balance, and you have to admire coaches. Coaches will give kids chance after chance because they know if they don't, they're going to go down the wrong direction, and they have a chance to steer them and make them become men who are productive in society. So I admire that. You've got to balance that against Louisville could be really good this year, and if you've got someone disrupting your locker room, disrupting the way things are operating, you've got to get that out of there.
Howie, what do you think? Too big of a risk?
No, I'm selling that. I mean, I think if he were Robin Banks, then yes, he's too big of a risk. If he were, the Willie Williams case where he'd have been arrested like 19 times or something like that. I think that I don't know everything that went on at Auburn, but I know enough to think it's just ignorance. It's just being a silly kid. Yeah. So I'm guessing, I've met Pat Moore before, Louisville strength and conditioning coach. I've met Charlie Strong before. I'm guessing they won't put up with that.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
Now, I am also going to sell that Zeke Pike is too big of a risk because of his bloodlines. Not mine. His dad, Mark Pike, and I are cousins. And now Mark Pike played in 4 Super Bowls.
Right.
So anybody with that kind of bloodline, you take a chance on, and that's what Louisville has done. For the University of Kentucky, what they have to take a chance on is to being able to forecast into the future. Rick Mender says Kentucky can't go out and get those 5-star players most of the time. What they've got to be able to do is go find the developing players and turn them into great college players.
You always have to ask yourself, why does a young kid play? Well, it's either because of poor recruiting ahead of him or he's a great player. And at Kentucky, you may or may not get a ton of, quote, great players off the recruiting wire. You get a lot of developmental players, guys that come in and turn out to be great. Early round picks, late round picks, your Andre Woodsons, your Braxton Kellys, and right on down, Danny Trevathans. We didn't beat a lot of people on those guys. So you're not bringing in a ton of great ones right off the wire now. we develop players here better than we have to develop here to be successful. That's the whole point. We have to develop to be successful.
So, Daryl, that's kind of the blueprint that Joker and his guys have adopted, buying or selling. It's going to work.
Absolutely, buying it will be that forever and ever and ever. You will have to get developmental players that you don't beat, because you're not beating Alabama and Florida and probably Georgia and some LSU for top-notch kids in the South. It ain't happening. Don't get mad about it. Flip it over to basketball, and all those other schools are facing the same thing. You're not beating Kentucky for a top basketball player. So you have to find somebody. You have to recognize the ability, recognize the frame. This is what this frame will look like after a weight room, and we put 40 pounds on him, and then you end up with somebody like Wesley Woodyard, who nobody wanted, and is in the NFL for the 3rd or 4th year.
How are you buying or selling? Kentucky is in the futures market when it comes to football.
I'm buying, and it's nothing against Kentucky. Louisville's in the same market. I mean, I think for Louisville and Kentucky to be successful, they've got to go into these southern states, find a guy who's got a great frame, who's got great quickness, who might be a basketball player who they can turn into football, and recruit those kids and develop them. Because as Daryl said best, you're not going to beat Alabama. You're not going to beat Florida. You're going to beat them some of the time, but not all the time.
And I'm buying as well, and I think if Kentucky and Louisville can adopt the same measure that Wisconsin has, that's really how Wisconsin's built their football program. They're not beating anybody either. They usually have a top 50 or top 60 recruiting class. They develop players into good college contributors, and that's how they built their success. Well, the leading scorer on most college football teams is not the star quarterback or the swifty running back. It's usually the kicker, and that is an unproven position for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a concern because you lose Phil Potts, so now you have Appleby, you have Ryan Johnson, both of those guys which you're punting, and then you have Wallace and Nakatani. But it's a major concern because none of those guys they've never kicked in a game. So now you haven't really been able to put the pressure on them that we need to. Now we rush them in practice and we try to put the pressure on them, but not until they walk out here in the stadium where the pressure really be on them. And then you just won't know how they're going to kick that ball, and you're hoping it'll go through the upright when we try a field goal, and when we punt it, you're just hoping it could get down the field. But it is a major concern.
Daryl, Louisville's going to lose a game this year because of the kicking game. Buy or sell?
Sure, I'll buy it. I'll have to defer to Howie on what's going on, because following Louisville's kicker is not exactly at the top of my priority list. But if that is a weakness and that's a concern, then yeah, games are going to come down tight, and you better have somebody who has the confidence to knock it through, or you're going to walk off the field very angry one of these days.
Kicking's going to cost them, Howie. You buying or selling?
I'm torn on this one because I think that Louisville has the opportunity to win all these games, but I also know that there's going to be some close games in here. I have a lot of confidence in Kenny Carter to develop kickers, but maybe not this fast. I mean, several of these guys just got on campus. So I've got to buy it. I mean, I think that Louisville might actually lose a game based on the kicking game. Not necessarily a missed field goal, but it could be, a shanked punt. It could be a missed coverage there. That's just scary for me going into a season where so much is on the line and so little experience in both kickers.
I'm selling because I think the Cards are 12-0 this year. A short rebuttal there. Well, Danny Trevathan, Wesley Woodyard, and now Bud Dupree is the future defensive star in the making at the University of Kentucky.
So he's going to be the model which we go from this day forward of trying to find. He's about 6'3", 250, roughly. He's a very smart kid, high character, hard-working guy. He's already a team leader on our team after being on this campus less than 12 months, or right at 12 months now. And so we look forward to having a great year out of him. But he stepped up when his opportunity knocked last year. When Wilson went down with injury, he stepped up and manned those last 3 games and really played pretty darn good.
He's the prototype, Daryl, for what we're just talking about.
He absolutely is. You can find a slash linebacker defensive end to rush the quarterback, because as I said, you are not getting somebody as big as Alabama. You better be quicker.
And Howie?
I'm buying that. You got to be creative. You've got to move some guys around the field. Louisville's got a couple different hybrid positions. I think Kentucky needs to come off with some wild blitzes.
Let's come back with more in just a moment, but as we head to the break, Howie's going to tell us about the football preview edition for the Cardinals.
Absolutely. The football preview edition has been posted online. You can check that if you're a Cardinal Athletic Fund member. You can also get a printed edition. If you'd like to get the printed edition, you can call us at 502-636-4330. You can also check out the link on cardinalsports.com.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Explorer or F-150. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford, on the Waterson at Poplar Level Road.
Did you see Allison Allison at lunch today? I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text Allison. Hey, hold up, Matt's calling me. Matt's calling me. Hey, we got the food and we're on our way right now. Hey, who's coming, bro?
Buying your next VW from Bachman Volkswagen will be a great experience. No games or gimmicks, competitive prices, and a huge inventory make #1 Bachman the place to get your Volkswagen. The all-new 2012 Jetta, an IHS top safety pick, is a great vehicle and fun to drive. Or get the sporty all-new 2012 Volkswagen Beetle. It's back and better than ever. Come to #1 Bachman Volkswagen today to get your new Volkswagen before someone else does.
Bachman makes a difference.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
The difference maker this week on the Red and Blue Review is the brand new Big East Commissioner, Mike Oresco. And buy or sell, Howie, he's going to keep the cards right where they are.
Ooh, buy or sell?
Yeah.
How about I lease it? I got a 2-year lease. In 2 years, I might trade up for a new model. How about that? I'm not committing to anything.
Darryl, what do you think? With this new commissioner, Louisville's going to stay right where they are.
I am selling it. Publicly, it may look like they're buying it, that they're playing nice. Behind the scenes, over my dead body, I'm staying in this league.
Well, I think if the guy can come up with a kind of Pac-12 kind of contract where these guys get $30 million per school, Louisville will have less incentive to go. But I'm with Howie. I think in a couple of years, the Cards are packing their bags and leaving the Big East. We're leaving right now on the Red and Blue Review.
The Red and Blue Review is brought to you by Doug Jones Home Improvement Company, the Bachman Auto Group, Sam Swope, SWAT Team Pest Control, Joe's OK Bayou, PNC Bank, Allstate Ford Truck Sales, and the Ali Center.